Friday, May 7th. I'm Cecia.
And I'm Maya. A lot can be inferred by a person's eating and food origins.
For example, supermarkets. It is estimated that 70 to 75% of processed foods in supermarket aisles contain genetically engineered ingredients.
And these genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, use recombinant DNA technology to select DNA molecules from different sources and combine them to create a new set of genes. This DNA is then transferred into an organism, giving it a modified or novel genes.
But there are two different kinds of GMOs, transgenic organisms and cisgenic. Transgenesis is the process of introducing an exogenous gene into a living organism so that the organism will exhibit a new property and transmit that property to its offspring. Cisgenic is the process by which genes can be artificially transferred between organisms that could be conventionally bred.
The downside to these GMOs is that they can produce new varieties of crops more quickly and cheaply, but they can be very risky. These organisms can spread through nature and interbreed with natural organisms through pollination, therefore contaminating non-GE environments and future generations in an unforeseeable and uncontrollable way.
On June 16, 1980, the court case between Diamond and Chakrabarty allowed for the first time the patenting of life forms for commercialization. Even farmers who don't use genetically modified seed are forced to surrender their crops because of cross-pollination. Ever since then, farmers are being sued left and right for using their seed that happen to be cross-pollinated with GMOs through patent infringement. I mean, how fair is that?
Yeah! GMOs aren't only bad for farmers, they're bad for you. In 1989, 37 Americans died, and 1,500 were afflicted and impaired by a genetically modified version of the food supplement L-tryptophan, creating a debilitating ailment known as Alzheimer's syndrome, or EMS.
And with more and more cases arising with GMOs, we're putting ourselves at a higher risk. But it's not like we can get out of it because the government won't label food products. What the freak? Some genetically modified organisms are killing people.
The FDA seems to easily approve of these new bills and allow big companies to get away with murder. Does that seem right?
No way.
Beef hormones is another way these huge industries can control the food market through the new RBGH gene that the FDA also approved in 1993. It is a genetically altered growth hormone that can be injected into dairy cows to enhance the pituitary gland, which subsequently produces more milk. Using 6 different hormones, oestradiol, progesterone, testosterone, zeranol, trebolone, and melangestrone.
Sheesh, this RGBH, also known as recombinant bovine growth hormone, results in an increase of IGF-1, a very potent chemical hormone that has been linked to 2.5 to 4 times greater risk of human colorectal and breast cancer. If we are drinking the milk of these cows that have been injected with hormones, in turn we are getting a big dose of these hormones.
Not only are we susceptible to these cancers, the cows also produce 280 tons of manure a week for just one 1,000 head feedlot. They are waist deep in their own crap. So, E. coli is infecting the entire herd, which can also spread into our own food supply.
That's why you hear about outbreaks in E. coli contaminated spinach, strawberries, and other produce using infected irrigation water.
Let's talk about something more uplifting.
What, pesticides?
Why not? I don't like bugs anyway, right?
Cecia, you are so arachnophobic. Okay, pesticides it is.
Pesticides is a mixture of substances that include killing off a variety of pests like insects, weed, fungi, and rodents.
But there isn't really anything great about them because they aren't necessarily good for our own health. They cause a number of illnesses from cancer with long-term exposure to nausea and respiratory difficulties with lower levels of exposure.
Yeah, true.
And over 98% of sprayed insecticides and 95% of herbicides reach a destination other than their target species, including non-target species, air, water, and soil.
The risks definitely outweigh the benefits. What about fertilizers?
Well, they also promote plant growth using nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But an overabundance of these chemicals can take a large toll on the environment, causing issues such as depletion of soil nutrients, and several of these chemicals can leach into groundwater.
We would be putting these nasty foods into our bodies. The last thing we want is to have more diseases. Sure, eating foods that taste better and cost less is easier for a while, but that is thinking short term.
We have to advance towards a pesticide-free, GMO-free, and hormone-free ASAP. It's the only way humans will survive. We shouldn't interrupt 300 million years of Earth's perfection in making plants fit our own needs.
By giving processed foods to other countries, small farmers can compete with the price. It is destroying their way of life and traditions.
In a 2000 study by the FDA, it was stated that commercialized farmers make up over 97% of production. What if all of these companies decided to start growing organically?
That would improve every aspect of life today. The end.
Yeah!